How's it going, everyone? My name is Michael SK and welcome back to Katawa Shoujo. So in the last episode, we met the final two characters out of the 5 of which we can, I guess, advance into routes with. We met the one with no legs and then the other one with no arms. And I forgot their names, so I'm going to sneak into the library here. As I was here checking out how much more we have to go, and boy oh boy do we have a lot to go. So, I believe we met Emi and Rin. Emi being the one with no legs, and Rin being the one with no arms. And, of course, we've already met Hanako, Lily, and Shizune. Shizune was actually the first one that we met, along with Misha. So, we've met everyone now, which is fantastic. So, where do things go from here? I feel like there's going to be some casual, ordinary, common route stuff, and then we'll eventually get thrown into a route based on the choices that I've made and the choices that I will make. I believe that's how it will go. I'm assuming. We're in Waylay. So I think we just got thrown out, or not even thrown out, but just we left the art room, and Misha and Shizune are here. Shizune, standing slightly behind Misha, looks aloof, as she couldn't have heard the remark that drew Misha's attention, but Misha is visibly excited. No, wait, more importantly, who is in there? There's no club meetings today. She tries to curiously peek past me, even though the door prevents her from seeing anyway. What are you doing here? You took so long that we had to come and check what's wrong. That's no good, Hee-chan. She wags her finger at me scoldingly. I found plywood, but everything else is still missing because you are tardy. Oh, sorry. I got the things here. Was just going to bring them. I think you were up to some mischief, Hee-chan. Who was in there with you, I wonder? Misha signs something quickly to Shizune, pointing at her own ear a couple of times. Shizune immediately pushes her way past me and opens the door into the classroom I just left. I can only imagine the shock she is experiencing. With Shizune's diligence and attitude, the insolence of daring to deface school property by sleeping on top of it must be too much to bear. And indeed, she stares at Rin, frozen in place apart from the slight but noticeable trembling of her shoulders from suppressed rage, I'm sure. Instead of blowing up, Shizune just takes a few deep breaths, adjusting her glasses and slams the door shut, turning to sign furiously at Misha. What the hell did we do wrong? Maybe she did blow up, but I can't understand it. She shoots a very loaded stare at me too, as if it was somehow my fault that Rin is sleeping on one of the tables. I hope she's not getting any funny ideas about the reason of my tardiness. Hello? Rin's voice comes from the other side of the door, and it takes a few eye blinks to realize she might have trouble opening it. Oh yeah? Yeah, I was wondering, like, what? But I guess, yeah, it sort of makes sense that she would struggle to open the door. I open the door to find Rin directly behind it, looking at us with a half-interested, half-sleepy face. Hello? This is awkward. Miss Tezuka. Tezuka? Let's go with that one. Miss Tezuka, what do you think you were doing? You absolutely are not permitted to use school property for such disgraceful activity. I'm sure it sure is suddenly very crowded in here. I didn't know I was this popular. It's hard to say whether she's happy or unhappy about this turn of events. At any rate, she ignores Shizune/Misha's scolding, so they have no choice but to drop the issue. Shizune taps Misha's shoulder, points at Rin, and makes some quick signs. Popularity aside, please don't do that anymore. Anyway, how is your project going? Will it be done for the festival? Rin looks at them blankly, apparently at ease under the pressure Shizune's cold stare is putting on her. I keep wondering about that myself, too. And? We'll think about it harder. Man, Rin is absolutely just out of it. As Misha signs her reply to Shizune, her face turns into an unsatisfied frown. Miss Tezuka, please try to take this seriously. It'll be a disaster if the wall looks like someone threw up their lunch onto it. Rin nods assertively. We'll think more seriously. Misha actually giggles at that, but Shizune doesn't. Not even after translation. She just shakes her head, takes the materials from me, and takes off with Misha in tow. Rin frowns thoughtfully as she looks after the retreating student council duo. How rude. It's true though, I must finish my project before the weekend. There will be dire consequences if I don't. The end of the world as we know it. Like weekends usually are, but more dire. Much more dire. Maybe I'll postpone my nap to unforeseen future. What is this, like, character? Oh man, she dresses kind of like a boy. She looks like a male character, and that's really throwing me off. And her laziness is on a completely different level than what I'm used to. As I just look in the mirror and I just, there I go. There's the laziness, but this person's completely different. I'm about to ask what project she has and what are these apocalyptic consequences, but she walks back into the art classroom. Since you have nothing to do, would you give me a hand? Well, I mean, someone has to. Sorry, guys, that was mean. This paint can doesn't fit into my bag, but I need it. She kicks lightly at a huge can of paint that's lying on the floor next to the table she was sitting and sleeping on. It lets out a dull clang. Being the gentleman I am, I naturally pick it up. Heavy. Yeah, sure. Where do you need to take it? Away. That is very specific. And with that, she takes off to the hallway. Me and the paint can following, since there's little choice for either of us. The hallway is quiet and empty now with Shizune and Misha gone, so we too leave towards the stairwell at the other end. Every 10 or 15 or 20 steps, I have to change the can from one hand to another because the thin handle cuts into my palm. At least it keeps my arms from tiring too fast. Rin strolls on beside me with an uneven pace that I have trouble matching. It's like when you're in a video game and an NPC is walking and you need to walk with them, but your speed is not the same as theirs. Grand Theft Auto 5, man. Actually, was that an issue in Grand Theft Auto 5? I don't know. Not important, though. Or maybe I am walking weird because of the extra weight. It seems one of us is constantly walking too slow or too fast, and I can't figure out which. 2 flights of stairs below, trouble appears in the form of the head nurse and his fox-like grin. Oh, it's him again. Ah, Mr. Nakai. What a happy coincidence. Tezuka too, of course. He nods courteously to Rin, who does not acknowledge him back, and then turns to me because, obviously, it's me who he had some business with. There's something I forgot to mention on Monday. I nod and wait impassively because I can't even begin to guess what he forgot. The feeling of the handle delving deeper into my skin doesn't make me feel enthusiastic about this interruption either. It's about your medications. Since you haven't been that long on your current medications, there might be some unexpected side effects, which might require adjusting dosages or even changing to another kind of medication. So, we will do a few tests regularly, but what I'd want is for you to keep an eye on something in your condition that feels off, if you get what I mean. Nausea, headache, anything. And come see me if anything happens. Alright. So how are you? Everything fine? I give up and drop the can to the floor before God damn it. Before answering him. Sorry, guys. I am, dying right now. Apparently, this takes longer than my biceps can handle. I'm about to say something generic as an answer, but then I realize how often I've done that lately. Other people have asked me that too, teachers and students here. My parents, visitors, nurses, doctors at the hospital, everyone seems to be concerned about that. It's natural for a hospital, not so much for a school. Except this school. This is a small school, and both the student base and the faculty seem to be very tightly knit. At least that's the feeling I'm getting. and this is not the kind of school that gets transfer students too often. The thought sends shivers up my spine, but I give a generic answer anyway. That's great! Also, one other thing. My sources tell me that you've been at neither the school track nor even the pool, so I'd like to know if you have taken up exercising as I asked. Of course I haven't, but his way of inquiring gives me the feeling that I should have been running my ass off on the track since the very first day. You have people spying on me? Not as such. I just happen to know a few people, but that's not the issue here, so don't try to slip out of it. Well, I was actually just doing some improvised weightlifting as an exercise. I pick up and lift the can up and down a few times like some sad imitation of a bodybuilder, even though it's weighing down on my arms painfully. A stupid grin disappears from his face for a second, and then comes back like it was never gone. Tezuka, would you give us a second? Oh, shit. The nurse grabs me by the shoulder without waiting for Rin's permission, which he didn't need in the first place, and drags me aside. When I told you to exercise, I wasn't joking. I understand that you are still in your first week and all, but please don't ignore the importance of this. The reason I'm coming down this hard on you is that habits are not easy to form. The more you slip and postpone, the harder it will be. It's the same with everything, like dieting. Can you promise me to be more serious about this from now on? Yeah, I mean, I guess that's important for our health, right? I guess we gotta be serious about it. I don't really see a reason why we shouldn't, to be honest. I think I can just save over this, and we'll make another save state. Alright, so yeah, I really don't see a reason why we shouldn't be serious about this. Why we should answer with maybe. Let's just be serious. Let's do some exercising, you know? Yeah. Yeah, I promise, definitely. He studies me for a moment and then shrugs, smiling again. Okay, that's more like it. If you go to the school track tomorrow morning, you'll meet my spy, who probably has no qualms offering consultation to you if you want to jog a bit. Consultation? See you around. The fuck was that about? He leaves with a wave of his hand and no answer, and I walk to Rin, who has been waiting, idly leaning against the hallway wall and staring at the pale lighting fixtures in the ceiling. Even when I approach, she doesn't move her eyes off them. Are you getting medications for your heart thingy? Were you listening? It comes out more accusatory, my bad, than I intended, accidentally lashing out on her. But even so, I don't really want to start talking about it. I just met her. I don't know her. It's not her business. The nurse seems to be happily ignorant about confidentiality, talking about that kind of thing in public. But it's not Rin's fault, is it? I look up at her, suddenly feeling a bit guilty, but Rin is just staring past my shoulder quizzically, her head tilted like a bird's. I don't know why this is so hard for me. It feels like there is some inexplicable lock that prevents me from being more upfront about this. Yeah, they're for my heart. Will they make you better? No, not really. They just make me a little less worse. Rin keeps looking at me for a while longer, and she neither says anything further, nor displays any kind of emotion I could discern. I'm thankful that she doesn't. I think I'm still not quite used to all this. At the hospital it was easy, but I still haven't sorted my feelings out about having to live a normal life with this disability. We leave the main building and Rin leads us onwards towards the dorm. We stop at the small patch of greenery in front of the dorm building. The dorm is built on a slightly elevated ground with a wall and a few trees that everyone has to circle around every time they come or go. It's probably the only inconvenient design in the school. The entire wall, made of the same kind of bricks as the building itself, has been covered with some sort of painting. Most of it is still mere sketches, quick lines drawn with black and white against the gray pasturing that covers almost the entire length of the wall, but some places look a bit more finished. There are human faces and legs and hands. I can't quite say what the painting as a whole might portray. Stacks of what seem to be paint cans are arranged in piles on the ground beside the wall. See? The left side is hardly off the ground yet. It's because I couldn't get in the mood yesterday, so I gave up and went to meditate instead. And then it was suddenly morning. I have to work on it, but the guys from the art class are helping with the negative spaces and base surfaces whenever, which is a problem. It's easier to paint big areas if there are a lot of people with hands. The reach is better, and it's faster too. She goes on a tangent of a tangent, waving a little with her arm, or whatever of it there actually is, to demonstrate, even though I got the point already. The white cotton of her sleeve flaps around, and it makes me think it could look sadder than it does. But it makes me feel out of place. Like almost every tangible reminder of the student bases, special properties has in the past few days. This girl doesn't notice my dreary feelings, of course, or the fact that she lost me a while ago already, and just keeps on blabbering. So, that's why I'm trying to figure out if there's something I need to figure out. Wait, what? And then figure that out before it's too late and all hope is lost. Why would the hope be lost? Because the paint has to be painted, and then it has to dry, and then it has to be painted over with another kind of paint. It takes time. She finally stops, apparently thinking she has made some kind of a statement that makes sense. I think it's best to start from the top. So this is your project. You did this. Yes. All of it? Yes. Nice, but I stumble with my words, suddenly feeling like I've walked straight into the minefield of political incorrectness. It's okay, you can say it. I probably won't get mad. I blush really hard. I don't really know what would be the right thing to say, if any. It feels that I'm way more sensitive than Rin is, though. This is really awkward. Don't you want to ask? How do you paint without hands? See, I'm an easy person to talk to, right? With my feet. I almost guessed that already, but isn't that hard to do? You're good at guessing. Anyway, I don't think it is, but maybe I'm used to it by now. I can't get my mind around the fact that she could be an artist, but seeing how adept she was using her feet to eat, I figure painting might not be a problem either. That's gotta take a little bit more finesse when you think about it. It can't be as simple, and it really is not simple to begin with, but eating with your feet. It sounds simple, but that shit's whack. Neither of us has anything more to add to the subject. The afternoon light works pretty well. I was afraid it would look too flat, but it's not like that after all. I think it's actually pretty interesting. I wanted to see what it looks like in dim light. Do you think it's flat? Well, paintings tend to be flat. Not like that flat. You know, flat. Like some people are. No substance, no meat. Or there should be some. I know if... Oh! I saw that. Alright. Oh, boy. Man, they don't give me enough time to read that out loud, though. Okay, I get it. But I couldn't really tell. I'm not that good with art. I can't name many artists or artistic terms. So I don't really have anything to say. Rin shrugs her shoulders at that, saying suit yourself without saying it, and looks up at the sky as if trying to look for something up there. I didn't really think I'd get any actual work done, but if you give me a hand with the paints, I could do a little before it's too dark. I wanted to get a halogen lamp like the ones they have at the sports track, but there aren't any. Rin sure is quick to recruit my help, as was Shizune. It really makes me feel that the festival is such a big project that every pair of hands is needed. Literally. Why not? I'm not really sure I could be of any help, though. It's just mixing some paints. You can do that. Probably. Do you have motor control problems? Like, you know, those who have some? Fuck, I know this shit, but cerebral palsy? There we go. Not that I know of. I get it. Heart thingy has nothing to do with that. I don't even know what that is. I've heard that phrase or name so many times, but I don't know what cerebral palsy actually is. As you guys could probably tell, I'm not really good with the technicalities in medical shit, and I never want to be. She gives me a sly look for no reason. No, it doesn't. Let's do it then. So, she sits on an empty wooden box and very naturally picks up a wide brush between the toes of her bare right foot. I open a few of the cans and pour some of the contents into shallow bowls for mixing. The thick paints flow lazily from the can to the bowl like syrup. I mix them, creating funny, hypnotic-looking swirl patterns that melt quickly into each other to form a new monotone hue. Rin sets to work, every now and then asking me for a hand with something or the other. Finding different brushes is easy enough, but mixing the paints to be the exact tone this girl is apparently seeing in her head is a frustrating ordeal. Yeah, for sure. I actually can believe that. As someone who does not really touch art, I can definitely understand. She wants precision down to the last millimeter before she is satisfied, but her instructions are obscure at best. Add half a splash of green. I crouch down to pick up the can of bright green. The other green. This green. I carefully pour some of the other green paint into the mixing bowl. No, that's almost a whole splash. More white. Is green a good color to add? No idea, you're the artist here. A hint of smile appears in the corners of her mouth. Do you lack an opinion? No, it's just that I have no idea. It's okay, because I just got an idea. Add more white. With this exclamation, I pour a minuscule amount of white into the bowl and mix it. It looks slightly whiter. That's not good. It has to be like the color when you wake up and you know that you saw the meaning of life in your dream, but can't remember it. Maybe it's yellow. What the hell? She really sounds like one of those, not mediocre, but not basic either. Damn it, I really don't know how I can describe this. It's an artist that you usually see or how they tend to be portrayed like on TV and stuff like that. They're not that bad, really. It's just, they really do see a whole nother world. Artists are really incredible. I've gone from trying to explain something to complimenting artists. This playthrough's really going somewhere. Despite the impossibility of mixing a color like the change of seasons or any other nonsense that's being imposed to me, or on me, I find myself enjoying it more than I thought I would. Like the music, as always. Seeing a painting being born on the plastered wall feels like magic. I spend the moments I have between mixing paints, crouching down on the paving, and just looking at her work. It feels slightly intrusive at first, like breaking some imaginary intimacy, but Rin doesn't seem to mind the least bit. Maybe it's just in my head. Her entire presence emits a completely different air as she patiently works the details, adding layers of paint on top of the other layers of paint, steadily moving her foot across the wall to add new shapes. When I manage to produce a passable mixture of paint, the rare smile on her face is oddly rewarding. Apart from the few words when discussing paint mixes, neither of us says a word for the longest time. And even those short discussions soon evolve into a shorthand, both of us developing and using weird impromptu code words for various paints and hues. As if there was some need to conserve words in breath and sound. Oh shit. There's actually, like, more being added to the wall. That's so cool. We stay there late into the evening until it becomes too dark to paint properly. And now it's pitch black. Quite unfortunate. Oh, I guess that's the end of the day. Alright. That was quite sudden. That was quite sudden. Oof. The alarm. Alright. Well, I think we'll end it there. I feel like I am a few minutes earlier than usual, but I think it's best to just end it there. We are now on, what are we on? The Running Girl. I feel like this is going to show us a little bit of Emmy, I think, because she was running in the halls, and I think that's who the spy was. I'm just guessing. I think that is the nurse's spy, as we have to go to the track, right? I think that's like I think we pretty much settle upon by saying, yeah, we'll be serious. So I guess we'll see what happens next. That's my prediction. Hopefully I'm right. I guess we'll see. Don't spoil it for me. Don't spoiler it for me, is what I literally just said. I am absolutely out of it, if you guys could not tell. I'm so sorry. But thank you for watching this episode of Katawa Shoujo. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe for more. I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy.